Hello and welcome to the world as we see it. So, very good for you to join us. If you're new to the channel, then welcome to you for the first time. If you've been here before, welcome back. Hopefully, if you are coming back, then you might be willing to subscribe, and if you are, then the button's down there. Now today is the 22nd of June, and it's the feast of Saint Alban, the first martyr of Britain, who back in the year 209 became martyred. The first ever martyr in Britain. It was a time when religious freedom was forbidden, and it's also an astonishing account of standing up for what you believe in. Now, Alban lived in the early 3rd century in the Roman city of Verulamium. I can never say it. Verulamium. Verulamium. Yes. Anyway, just down the hill from where the cathedral stands today, one day he gave shelter to a stranger fleeing persecution. This stranger was a Christian priest, now known as Amphibalus. While sheltering the priest, Alban was inspired by how important faith was to the priest and asked to be taught more about Christianity. And it strikes me that this idea of meeting with people, with hearing about why faith is important to them, is the main driver of how faith is spread. Being able to hear the words, to see the enthusiasm, to see the passion, to see the sincerity, to see the grace of a person who has committed themselves to something greater than themselves. And it seems to me also that when a person has found faith, I find it amazing that and humbling that a person would be willing to sacrifice everything, including their life, in pursuit of that faith. Now, of course, for the majority of us, our faith is never tested to that degree. But for some, and even some who are closer to us than we realise, their faith has been tested. Now, in our congregation, we know of a family of Pakistanis, a family whose wider family, whose extended family, have been incredibly persecuted because of their faith. And not just them, but I've met more folks from Pakistan on Facebook, and I'm always struck by the same story and the strength of their faith and their sincerity and their astonishing commitment in standing up for their faith. It's quite incredible, actually. Now, I mean, we're not only going to chat about that. We're going to chat about a few things today. Now, as you might have seen, we've got a new thing running across the above my head here, and there are a few messages in there which are terribly important. Okay, we are promoting the St George's Passier fan page, and we would like you to like it and share it and comment with the posts we have on there. We're also promoting the Churches Together in Thailand fan page, which is at Churches Together Thailand. And Churches Together has a group called Churches Together in Passier, and that's at Churches Together in Passier. We also are connected to some great Facebook groups, and for fellowship and discussing faith, we have the at St George's Fellowship for celebrating and protecting creation. We have the Eco-Active Christians group, which is growing week on week, very, very successful, surprisingly successful, actually, and we're very happy about that. So, and in terms of celebrating verse or scripture or discussing questions of faith, we have the at Christians Rejoice Now group, and you are very, very welcome indeed to be joining us there. So, it's there's a lot going on. We've been terribly, terribly busy. Sufficient to say that actually our appeal is more important than ever. The appeal that we have was started almost a month ago, and it hasn't been. I mean, we're being honest here. It's not been too successful. We need folk to step up. We need you to step up to make a difference. And what we are asking for is the equivalent cost of a cup of coffee every month. If you are willing to give us the same as the cost of a cup of coffee, which these days, really, we are talking $5 once a month, right? So it's, not a huge amount of money, a little over $1 a week. Okay? If you can afford it, send us £5 per month. That would be excellent. Now we make it very easy. £5, $5, €5. We don't really mind, because we foresee that times are tough at the moment. In as much as COVID has made life difficult for us, we recognise it's made life difficult for everyone around the world. But we are not all in the same boat. We are caught in the same storm, it's true. But some of us happen to be caught in that storm on a yacht. Some of us are in a small lifeboat. And some of us are drowning as the tide goes over us. Now, those in the yacht may well be able to make some small change available to us, which actually would make a huge difference to the people who we seek to help in our community, which has been ravaged and in so many ways decimated by the COVID-19 virus. Not by the virus itself, but by the effects, by the economic effects of the lockdowns. And we're not complaining about the lockdowns. We're not saying the lockdowns weren't necessary to save lives, because of course they were. But they have inflicted upon those in our community who depend so much on the hotel and hospitality industry. They have destroyed lives. The lockdowns have destroyed businesses. And these are consequences. They're simple consequences. But we can make huge differences to those people who have been affected. And you can make a huge difference to those people who have been affected simply by forwarding us whatever you can afford. Whether it is £5 or $5 or €5 per month. It will make a big difference. Now, what are we going to do? I'm going to send you the link for where you can send us a donation. The link for how you can help us. Okay? And I think if I do that, it would be wonderful. It really would be good if you would commit to helping us. Now, of course, as I say, we know that everyone has suffered. And what we are very happy to do, what we are very keen to do, and then you can see the link there in the chat. What we're very keen to do is to pray for you. Now, if you need us to pray for you, there is an area on our Facebook page, and we're very keen to take you there. This is our church twinning page, but instead of looking at this page, what I'm going to do is take you to the prayer and praise. Instead of church twinning, which is just here at the bottom, the second to bottom tab there, we're going to go to prayer and praise, because if you go to prayer and praise, you are able to request a prayer. You just click on pray for me, and if you click on pray for me, what we will do is we will within 24 hours we will have prayed for you. But what we will also do, and this is a commitment, we will add your name to the intercession for at least 1 week. Okay, so on a Sunday, your name will be read with the intercession, and our congregation will pray for you too. So I think that that's very important. The power of prayer is documented as having huge effects. And I've told you before, I've described, so for those of you who have seen this channel before, I have described to you one of the scientific experiments which supports the power of prayer, and that's the hope experiment. The hope experiment, which I find quite miraculous in itself. I mean, quite horrid the way they did the experiment, but nevertheless the results are extraordinary. They demonstrate the power that belief and hope can have on our own abilities to even help ourselves. Now, of course, I would love it if somebody would ask questions. I would love it if somebody were to join us today, and if that were possible, that would be marvelous. One of the things we are also going to be experimenting with as time goes on is the concept of raiding. So we've only just learnt about this raid thing, which seems like great fun. So we do need more viewers for that, of course. We've got 1 viewer at the moment, but we will need more if we are to help each other. And so we're very keen, not just, oops, why is that making a noise? We're very keen to help others as well. And so if we could get some more folks following us and subscribing, or just following for the time being, that would be great. All right. Now, of course, if there is anything you would like us to cover in any of these transmissions, please do get in touch. Please do talk to us. Tell us what you would like to hear. Tell us what you would like to talk about. If there are questions you would like answered, we're very happy to answer them. And if there's any kind of debate that you would like to enter into, then we're happy to debate. Okay. And that's it, really. I mean, the question of faith. We started today by talking about Saint Alban and the fact that Saint Alban was the first martyr of Britain back in 209 AD. So he had huge amounts of faith, and obviously he got that from his priest friend, who had infectious enthusiasm and commitment to his faith, and that infectious enthusiasm was passed to Saint Alban. That, by any definition, would be the power of the Holy Spirit. Something which many of us take strength from, draw strength from, and no doubt Saint Alban did too. Now that ties in with the Gospel this coming week. This coming week we are reading Mark again, and it's Mark chapter 5, and the story of Jesus healing. And I think it's chapter 5 verse 21 onwards, if you're interested, if you're going to have a look at some scripture. And we took a quote today which is on our Facebook page, and we've shared that, and it is don't fear, only believe. Don't fear, only believe. That's the verse today, and that really does resonate with what Anselm was having to deal with, because he did believe and he did not fear, and as a result of that he was made a martyr, and I think probably he would have welcomed that. He would have welcomed that death, in that he knew, he had absolute faith that he was going to be. Let me just sort this out. I'm just going to take you to. We're going to see. Yeah. Yes. And we're going to hear, and we can see the post which we've got in the Facebook page. Do not fear, only believe, and that's Mark chapter 5, verse 36. Okay, for anyone who wants to. Now, we can unpick what that means. It relates in the gospel reading on Sunday. It talks about a woman who had been hemorrhaging for many years, and she said, if I touch the cloth, the hem of his clothes, I will be healed. And she was. And Jesus turns around to say, who did that? Who touched my clothes? And the people there thought that maybe he was going to rebuke her, and they argued and said, well, there are so many people here kind of squishing to be near you, of course someone's going to say. And she stepped forward and she said, it was me who did this. And he said, well, you've been healed because you had faith. And it was justified because of her faith. She was right. And I think that's a really powerful message. In as much as any of the things we can talk about today, it's a terribly powerful message if a person has faith in someone or something and steps forward without knowledge. There's no scientific evaluation going on. There was no evidence test. She just stepped forward and did it because she had faith, and it worked. And it goes back to the hope experiment. If you have faith, the rats were drowning. If they had faith, if they believe that they are going to be rescued, they are able to swim, not for 15 minutes, but for 60 hours. Incredible. Now that's a rat. That's an experimented rat in a lab. What about us? If we have hope, what are we able to survive? And there are numerous examples. There are a plethora of examples through history of faith groups which have sought support from each other, which have offered shelter to others, which have survived incredible persecution because of their faith. And so it's an interesting thing, because I was talking about the folk in countries, for example, like Pakistan, where because of a person's faith, they are persecuted. But it may well be that in spite of the persecution and because of the faith, they survive. So the same thing may well be the reason the mob needs to persecute families, but it may well be the same thing, that very same thing that is enabling families to stay together, communities to stay together and to survive. The power of faith. It's amazing. So there we are. We will come back and revisit this, no doubt, in the future, as we often do. We would like more engagement. It would be lovely if more folk could come along and have some fun with us while we're here. We're here nearly every day, so we're here Tuesday through to Saturday. Sunday and Monday we have a couple of days off. But if you're willing and able, maybe you could press down there. You can press the subscribe. You can press the follow, and you can chat with us. Don't be shy. Step forward and tell us what you think. We would love to hear from you. And of course, if you are watching, if you're getting this stream, and you represent another church, maybe you represent another congregation, we are very clear that we would like to twin with you. We would like to celebrate with you. We would like to pray with you. We would like to learn with you and from you. And we would like to explore our ministry together. Okay, we would like to explore with you what we do in terms of mission, what we do in terms of how we engage with our local communities, and how you do that. And we would love to be sharing with you our experiences. So yes, I think there's a huge amount of value for not just us, but for you guys as well, to engage with us as for all intents and purposes, we're a mission church here in Thailand. We don't come under we don't fall under the Diocese of Singapore. We don't fall under the local deanery in Bangkok. Instead, we are supported by the Bishop Cephalod Lingting, who is part of the Siberian Evangelical Lutheran Church, and for his support we are hugely indebted. So we are an independent congregation. We're very happy to work with anyone who comes along, and I think that if we were to work together with a broader fellowship, we would all gain so much. Now, I look forward to sharing with you more information about all of the possibilities as time goes on. So hopefully you'll join me tomorrow at the same time, and hopefully you'll engage with me. That would be wonderful, wonderful. Anyway, I'm going to say a again, as I always do, with prayers and